Good morning, guys. Now, today I'm in a brand new port and a brand new place for me, which is Limassol in Cyprus. Now, usually I would sit in this cabin and talk to you about the plan for today. I will do that, but not yet, because, yeah, I'm in my inside cabin right now, which means that I don't have a window, I haven't seen anything, and it's just gone 9 a.m. So I don't want to sit in this cabin for too long. I want to get up, see what's around the ship, and try and figure out what the plan should look like for today. So yeah, let's get out of here right now, head up to the top deck, and have a look. One thing that I have realised with an older ship is that it tends to make a lot more noise than the newer ones, which, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to, I guess you just probably have to adjust some of your expectations, because when I was on even like Symphony very recently, or Toscana or Smeralda, when you're on those big new ships, you hear nothing, whereas on here there seems to be a fair bit of creaking and a fair bit of, yeah, not even sure how to describe it. But look, anyway, back to the point. Now, as I said down there, I am staying in my inside cabin this week, so I mentioned yesterday I was looking to see if I could buy an upgrade, but the ship's totally full, which I'm actually quite out of breath after 3 flights of stairs. So, totally full, which I actually do understand, because the itinerary this week is really good. So yeah, it means that I'm living in this world for a week where I don't know what the weather's like or anything until I come outside. So that's exactly where we are now. Okay, do you know what? It's more, I'm gonna have to put my sunglasses on. It's more built up here than I was expecting. So if I show you, this is like my favourite time to look at top decks on a cruise ship. So if I show you all the way down here, I mean, it's empty. It's not just quiet, there's actually not a soul there. And in the pool deck, I mean, there are some people already getting loungers, but that's to be expected given the fact it's hot. So down here then, so this is the terminal building down here, where it says arrivals, which actually looks pretty modern. And then you've got the entire city behind. Let me flip the camera now and show you the view out the front of the ship, which is where we're heading to now. But yeah, this is going to be quite a busy day, I think. So what I'm planning is that when I was looking online, there seemed to be a Limassol castle over there on the right hand side, and there also seemed to be a beach over on the left hand side. Now, I can't really see the beach at the moment due to the fact that there's quite a big, well, it looks like quite a busy port area on the left, so I'm going to have to do a bit more Googling on that one. But yeah, if I could squeeze in the castle, a little bit of the old port town, and the beach, today would be a brilliant day. It might not be the beach on the left that we go to, because I think, yeah, now that I can see it, it might be quite far away. But yeah, if you look over there as well, there's quite a lot of sky. Well, I mean, I say quite a lot. There's more than I expected. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 skyscrapers. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to get off and explore here. I've only ever heard people that have been to Cyprus and they've been to like big hotels with swimming pools, and they go and do like an all-inclusive 2 weeks in Cyprus sort of thing. So this is going to be a really different experience today. And this for me, so I'm going to look back at you and not the city now. This to me, honestly, this is what cruising is all about. Like, even going to parts of the world where, yeah, fine, people have been there before, but you can have a totally different experience by arriving on a cruise ship. So other examples would be, if you look at places like Mexico, a lot of people go to Mexico, they stay in a hotel for a fortnight and then they don't really leave, so they don't see a great deal. Whereas you go on a cruise ship, you go to a very specific part of it, granted, but you can run around and explore. And some cruise itineraries will take you to 3, 4 different parts of Mexico within a week. I think that's it for me. And you know, to save me going back down to the cabin to talk to you in a minute, I might as well just cover off with you here. What I was going to say down there is, if you're looking at cruise ship cabin types, it's really important, I think, that you book one that you're happy with and you book what you think will be the right cabin. Now, I'm obviously on the inside, which, as we've said, means that I have no idea what's outside the ship. Some ships have got webcams that you can put on the TV, some ships have got weather forecasts. Now, this ship on the navigation channel, it really just shows you where you are, what time it is, what the location is on the map, but it doesn't give you much more information than that. And a lot of the time it's information that I would already know because I knew that today we were docking in Limassol. So you need to be absolutely clear. If you're looking at an inside cabin, you need to make sure that you're really happy with not really knowing what's outside that cabin until you leave it. Quite a lot of people, that would probably like disgruntle them a little bit. So yeah, just make sure that you're perfectly happy with that. My logic is that the longer I spend in an inside cabin, the more cruise ships I can get on, and the more cruise ships I can take you on with me. So yeah, unfortunately for me, it's not going to be penthouse suites all year, so yeah. Anyway, look, let's get from here downstairs into the windjammer, which is the buffet, which is just through these windows here at the very, very front of the ship. And I will see all of you over there when we reach the shore. Okay, time to eat. Breakfast for me this morning was into the windjammer. Now, when I look at my plate, I do probably understand why I've gained a little bit of weight this year. However, the full English on here was absolutely brilliant, so I had that with a coffee overlooking the port, and then it was time to head down and get off the ship. What better way to get downstairs than to use the glass elevator? Then, when you get out, all you have to do is follow all the arrowed signs to the gangway, and then you're ashore. Right, I am now off the ship and heading into the city. Now, a couple of bits to catch up on is that, first of all, you can see the ship behind at the moment. Now, I got off and said to the people in the terminal, look, how much would it cost me to get in on the shuttle bus? How much would it cost in a taxi? And to be honest, when it's $15 US dollars to use the shuttle bus, but then the woman said to me, I take this as a massive compliment. So she was looking me up and down and she said, look, you could walk. And I thought, okay, maybe that's you suggesting that I look fit and healthy. How long a walk will it be? And she said, oh, it's only 30 minutes. So yeah, hopefully that 30 minutes does pull through and that is the reality, which would be excellent. I seem to be pretty much the only person doing said walk at the moment though, and the pavements, well, I'm maybe stay on that other side of the road actually, the pavements seem relatively limited, so yeah, I think it'll maybe be a walk into the city and a taxi back. Now, earlier on I mentioned to you that I was planning to do like the castle, the old town and the beach, but I was thinking on it when I went back to my room there to pick my bag and stuff up. I think that's probably a bit unrealistic given the time restraints that we're under, so I think I'm just going to try and see the castle and then also a little bit of the town itself, and then, to be honest, just head back to the ship. Now, with all aboard being 3:30, that should mean that I can get back for like a kind of late lunch before we then set sail at what I imagine to be about 4 o'clock. Now, I think Sailaway from here might actually be really picturesque depending on what way we go, because if the ship backs out and just goes behind us, like, it'll be fine, but the scenery isn't that dramatic. But if we happen to go the other way, we're going to be going past like the entire city centre, which should be, well, that would be an amazing Sailaway. So stay tuned and I'll let you know what that looks like. But yeah, let me cut here and I will see you in the city in hopefully 30 minutes time. Now after you pass all of the Royal Caribbean hoarding, which makes it quite evident that this cruise line is investing locally here to make it a bit more of a destination, you then head out of the port towards the city. You can see here this walk is really not picturesque in the slightest. It's very much an industrial port that you're walking through, very little shade, and then you enter civilization. When you hit this road here, you've then got about another 10 minutes walk, and do you know what? It's not the prettiest of walks, but it definitely shows you what people here live like, because you're certainly walking along by apartment buildings and by homes that you wouldn't see if you took the bus. Nearly there, thank goodness. Now, the city is probably about another 10 minutes from here, and what I would say is that, yeah, fine, this has not been a picturesque walk by any stretch of the imagination, but it's actually like quite good to get out and walk off probably the copious amounts of food that you've been eating on board. Now, yeah, I wouldn't advise considering walking here if you were even slightly concerned from a mobility point of view, but if you can get up, throw your trainers on and go for a walk, like, this is absolutely fine. The beauty of a lot of these coastal cities, I mean, I am hugging this billboard to get a bit of shade right now, but the beauty of a lot of these cities on the coast is that they're so flat, so yeah, really easy to walk about. Now, anyway, one thing I was gonna tell you, and this blew my mind a second ago. It's the first time I've seen it in months because I've been travelling. The traffic lights here are the same as in the UK, and that is one of these really strange moments where, like, you don't get homesick, but I think it was suddenly like just a flash into home that I didn't expect to see, and it sort of, yeah, definitely caught me very, very off guard. I don't know if there'll be more of them that are going to come today. I'm glad that's happened now, and I'm only a week away from going back to Scotland for a bit, rather than happening when I was still about 2 months away, because yeah, you might be dealing with a Fraser and ruin if that were the case. Anyway, speaking of reminders from home, we've now got Lidl behind, and yeah, I'm hoping that this means that we're now coming in to civilization. So yeah, hopefully 10 minutes time I will be in the city and we can check out the castle. Guys, honestly, where I am now, so this is Limassol Marina, and it's basically on the main road on the way to the castle. I just stumbled upon it. I saw it online, but weirdly I thought on the map it wasn't too close to where we were walking to. But it said online that they've been putting a lot of money recently into developing this whole area to try and attract, well, boaters, but also just generally more money to this part of the city. And from what I can see at the moment, well, whoever dreamed up that plan seems to be, yeah, they seem to be onto something. So all around me right now, it's all, I think this section is all kind of smaller boats, and then over there behind you've got the kind of big approaching kind of super yacht territory. Now, yeah, very, very impressive. But there's not a great deal for me to do here because it seems to be like very residential, very like if you've got a boat then great, come and chill on it, but there's not really like shops. Well, to be fair, actually, do you know what? I tell a lie. There's a couple of chain restaurants here. So TGI Fridays is here. There's another couple along where the fountains and that were. So yeah, it's probably the kind of place where you just come to completely, I guess, chill out and feel like you're not in the middle of the city. But yeah, speaking of which, let's go to this castle. So I did look at a little bit of the history of the castle online, because one thing that I've learned from cruising in Europe this year is that the history here, like, I mean, you'd think I'd know this from growing up in Europe, but when you come onto the continent, the history is so fascinating. So I've got a couple of facts for you that I'll tell you about in a voiceover as we go over to the castle. But yeah, this, honestly, I'm very, very impressed with what I've seen so far. So yeah, let's head over more into the city now. Now, when you leave this beautiful marina to head over into the old port town area, you then pass this pretty new built town en route. In here, you're going to find designer shops, you're going to find cafes, you're going to find restaurants. I was really impressed, and actually, I wouldn't be disappointed if I just came here for the afternoon getting off a cruise ship. Really, really nice, and a real asset to the area. Anyway, when you leave the marina, you then end up in Limassol Old Port. Now this is where you're going to find the castle, it's where you're going to find all the historical elements of the town, and it's where you'll find some absolutely remarkable architecture. Now I did say I was going to tell you some fun facts about the castle that we're heading over to. The first one is that actually it's believed this castle was built over an early basilica that dates all the way back to somewhere between the 4th and the 7th century. And the earliest reference to this castle being a fort is all the way back in 1228. You can see here that it's really remarkably restored. They've done a fantastic job of this. I was really impressed. Didn't go inside, I'll tell you why in a second, but really, really impressed from what I could see on the outside. Right, for anyone that's followed this channel for a while, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hang on a minute, he's going to a castle, but he's told us before that he's not exactly the biggest history buff. Well, fear not, because we're not going in. So yeah, I wanted to come down here and just check it out, because the facts online about this are so interesting. So this is a castle right here, by the way, and they reckon that this is actually part of, from years and years and years ago, a much bigger fortress or castle that was built here before, but they don't know. They also think that this could be part of like an old church from years and years ago. So the history here, it's fascinating because it's so unknown. So there's a part of this castle actually which inside there's apparently prison cells that were used as a prison all the way up until 1950, which actually the thing that caught me with that is that's not that long ago. It's, yeah, pretty modern history actually. But yeah, this castle, apparently the history online suggests that there was pretty key things happening here way back in the 1100s, which is, yeah, I just can't get my head around how old some of this stuff is. But anyway, look, the reason why we're not going in is because it's only about 2 hours before all aboard time, so if we go in here, then I won't be able to go anywhere else. And one thing that I've realised, literally from walking from the marina to here, is that once you break the kind of port boundary and you get into the city, it's so beautiful in here. So my plan, I've saw a couple of signs for, I don't know what they call it, I can't remember, it's either a promenade or a boardwalk it's signed for, and that, in theory, or what I'm hoping, is that that'll be right down at the front, because the water down at the marina was so clear, and if that's the water that's in a marina full of boats, which is usually a bit dirtier, then it should be absolutely gorgeous down by the seafront. So yeah, I'm going to have one walk around here and then shoot down to the front and hopefully show you guys some crystal clear ocean. Hopefully you're already starting to realise that this old town is absolutely beautiful. Look at the architecture in here. Granted, what they're selling is largely what you'd find in any cruise port, whether that be hats, whether that be t-shirts or aprons, tote bags, you name it. If you want a souvenir in here, you're probably going to find it. I was really impressed with the old town. While I was walking through, I found this beautiful religious building. Very frustratingly, I couldn't find any signage to then talk to you more about this, but I did want to take you inside and just let you appreciate how stunning this place actually is. Walking into here made me feel like I was back in the likes of Rome, walking into those Vatican cathedrals and thinking, oh my goodness, it is just absolutely amazing. What was even better was that directly behind this place, you find the main boardwalk of Limassol. Now look at this water. I honestly don't have too much to say about this other than if you're going here, please carve time in your day to come here, look at the fish, look at the water. It is absolutely unbelievable. Now this boardwalk is, to be honest, you can see here, pretty quiet for most of the day. You'll find bars down here, you'll find cafes down here. I generally find that this part of the world is maybe actually a little bit too warm for people to be out exploring. But anyway, look, let me leave you with another couple of shots of this boardwalk before I show you where I stopped for a coffee, and then I'll speak to you properly before we head back up to the port. Okay, found the boardwalk, and honestly, today I feel like I'm living in some kind of weird dream. I think it's because I didn't look into this place before I got here. I've been really smitten by it. Look at this water. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm in my happy place right now. I'm underneath palm trees, blue water. Well, obviously the water's blue, clear water, and a brew, so I am delighted. Now anyway, when you come down here, there's loads of like bars, cafes, restaurants dotted all along the front. You've then got the main boardwalk, which is just over my shoulder there, and then you've got the section I'm on, which is like the raised up bit. Now the cool thing about this is you've then got the ocean right there, and all the way up you've got all these little sections that sort of shoot out over the water, so you can look down, see the fish, and yeah, I feel like I'm in my own little world here, because it's eerily quiet considering there's a cruise ship in, which that would suggest that people don't really know this is here. So take it from me, if you are coming here on a cruise, don't you dare stay on the ship. Even if you just come down here, jump in a taxi or walk and come for a wander up and down, it is so worth it. Anyway, speaking of the ship, we need to head back now because, as I said, all aboard is 3:30 today. And it's just gone 2:15 now, so yeah, I'm going to walk back, so that should get me back for just after 3 o'clock, which means that I'll hopefully have worked up a bit of an appetite. So yeah, I don't want to leave this water, but hopefully plenty more to come over the next couple of days with the ports that we're going to. So yeah, I will speak to all of you guys when we get back on board the ship. Right, 3:10, so 20 minutes ahead of all aboard, so by my standards, impeccable timing. And I have got the little mini Rhapsody the seas behind at the moment. So yeah, do you know what? I am loving, I'll wrap this up more in a future video, but I'm really loving cruising on this class of ship. So this is a Vision class, and I just feel as though at no point am I any more than about 2 flights of stairs away from whatever I want to go and do. It's great. But anyway, look, I am going to head onto the ship now, obviously, before they pull up the gangway and I get left here. And yeah, I am then going to head up to the top deck, grab a bite to eat and chill out in the sun as we sail away from what should be, oh, I think it'll be windy, but I think the conditions are going to be absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I'll show you what it's like to sail out of here, and I'll catch up with you back in the cabin when we're ready to head out later on tonight. Okay, let's get back on board. I cannot get enough of looking at this cruise ship. It is so small in comparison to any of the others that I've showed you so far. I absolutely love this size of ship. Anyway, when I got on just before Sailaway, I headed up to the Windjammer to get an ice cream. And those of you who saw my last episode will know the ice cream didn't get any better from what I had yesterday. Anyway, let's look at Sailaway because this was particularly special. I'm going to stop talking and show you this ship manoeuvring out of port because it was absolutely remarkable to watch. And I'll see you back down in the cabin before we head back out. Okay, so we have now sailed out of Limassol to think of where we actually have been today. Yeah, we've now sailed out of Limassol and we are now heading over, up, down to Rhodes, which, I honestly can't wait for this itinerary. It dawned on me earlier that I haven't even told you guys in that video yesterday where we're going. So yesterday, as you know, we left Haifa in Israel. Today, we docked in Limassol in Cyprus. Tomorrow, we're heading over to Rhodes, followed by Athens, followed by Santorini, I think is actually in between, followed by Mykonos, and then I think we've got a day at sea. I think we do have a day at sea in between Mykonos and going back down to Israel. So it's quite a full itinerary for a 7-night cruise because we've only got the one sea day, and the ports that we're in, they're quite big, busy ports. I mean, today we didn't have a huge amount of time ashore, so we docked at the normal time, but then we were all aboard for 3:30. I've just had the daily schedule through for tomorrow, which is Rhodes, and the gangway opens at 10:30 in the morning, so it's quite late, and then all aboard is at 5:30, which, to be honest, is actually on the early side for an all aboard as well. So not too sure why they've done that tomorrow. The benefit, or the good thing about this cruise is that when we go to like Santorini and Mykonos, at the moment, I'm expecting that to be later all aboards. When I booked this, the Santorini all aboard was 9 PM anyway, so hopefully that continues because, yeah, I think they're the big ones on this itinerary, so if we're kind of rushing back to the ship for 3 o'clock in Santorini, you're not going to see a great deal by the sounds of it. So yeah, hopefully that remains a late one. Now, plan for tonight, if I get the old cruise compass out, which is beginning to get a little bit tattered because it's been in my backpack all day. Now, remember, you could get this digitally. I just like to have it on paper so that I can circle what I'm doing each day. But my plan for tonight is pretty similar to my plan last night. I just love dinner and a show followed by like something after just to chill for a bit. So tonight I'm going back to the main dining room. To be honest, the main dining room, I think I'm enjoying it so much because when I was recently on Symphony, I took the 3 speciality dinner packages and then I had a night in the Windjammer, so I only actually had like 2 nights in the main dining room. So I'm really enjoying it this week on here. because it all feels so new. Even like the branding of the menus, it all feels totally new to me because I haven't really done a Royal Caribbean main dining room before. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. Last night it was chaos trying to get in because it was just this massive long queue. Today I have forgotten to make a reservation, so I'm my own worst enemy. So I'm signing up to that queue again tonight, unfortunately. So hopefully it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as it was last night. Now the show tonight is back in the main theatre, and it's like country music. Yeah, so production showtime starring our singers and dancers, pure country in the Broadway Melodies Theatre. So I think that'll be quite good because it's little things like that I really miss about cruising with the American market. I love American country music, and obviously it doesn't really feature on European cruise ships, so I'm thinking that tonight that should be quite good fun, and I think the crowd will also be quite good fun. Now, the only other thing to mention, which it's caught me by surprise, and I think it's a real positive for Royal Caribbean. Now, we've been sailing out of Israel, as you will remember from yesterday, and the predominant religion in Israel is Jewish. Now, on some cruise ships, I've seen the cruise line tailor what a couple of things they do on the ship to suit the market that ship's home ported from. So, to give you an example, if you cruise with MSC out of the UK on like Virtuosa for the last couple of years, for example, you will know that when you go into your cabin, there'll be a kettle and a couple of mugs and some tea and coffee. Because us Brits, if you haven't figured already from following, in fact, we even stopped for a coffee earlier. Us Brits love to stop for coffee and also have a cup of tea in the morning or a cup of tea before you go to bed at night. So yeah, with MSC sailing out the UK, you'll have a kettle. That's the same with P&O, but P&O tend to service primarily the UK market. So wherever you get on their ship, you normally have a kettle in the room. Now, on here, I've been really, really impressed with the things that they've done to help any of the Jewish population who are on board. Now, some things that they've done have really come to light today because I don't have any friends or family who are part of that religion, and I've found it really, really fascinating today, some of the things that have been done. So today, Saturday, is the Sabbath in the Jewish religion, and there's some things that aren't permitted on the Sabbath, so I need to do more reading on it because I'm so interested, or I'm hoping actually to meet people on this cruise who can talk to me about it because, yeah, it's so interesting. Basically, it's something to do with they're not allowed to use electricity on the Sabbath. So when we were in the theatre last night, there's a translator that comes in every night to talk with the cruise director. So the cruise director will say a bit, the translator will translate it, cruise director says a bit, translator translates it. Now, last night, the cruise director said, okay, well, obviously we're now under, like, Sabbath restrictions, therefore, whatever the translator's name is, isn't able to hold the microphone, so she's just going to shout really loudly. And she then, quite rightly, I mean, yeah, her voice projected all the way across the theatre, and little things like that, I didn't even think about. Another thing they've done is they've got a Sabbath elevator on this ship, so if you go to the back of the ship, one of those elevators is set to go deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, deck 4, deck 5, deck 6, deck 7, I can hardly say it, all the way to the top, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just goes up and down all day, so that if you are looking to use an elevator and you can't use the technology to press the buttons or whatever, then you know that elevator will be going up and down, so you can just go and get in it, and you don't have to touch it and tell it where to stop. I'm so impressed. Like, it's little things like that, yeah, while I've seen slight cultural things done before, I've never seen it to this degree. Even, like, tonight on the daily schedule, they have got daily, so it's every single day, daily religious services led by our rabbi in Conference Centre A. So they actually have a rabbi based on board. When you go in all the restaurants as well, they've got Israeli interpreters there too, so they are really, can't think of another term to use. I was going to say they're really pushing the boat out to accommodate the Israeli guests, but that's a little bit too much of a pun. But I think they're doing a really, really good job. And I actually spoke to a lady who, she now lives in London but grew up in Israel, and she was saying that she was actually really touched by the amount of effort the Royal Caribbean have gone to accommodate just certain beliefs and certain restrictions that are in force. But yeah, absolutely fascinating. Now, as I said, my plan tonight is dinner and a show, and then the other things that you could get on around the ship, you could head to. There's an ABBA, Name That Tune. There's some things going on in the casino. You've got salsa classes at 8:30. What else is going on? There's an outdoor movie. I'll maybe pop up and show you the outdoor movie actually. There's a couple of game shows. There's a decent amount going on. There's nowhere near the same amount of entertainment on here as what there was on Oasis class. So on Symphony, I remember feeling a bit stressed at times, which I know, yeah, maybe stressed is the wrong word, but I remember feeling overwhelmed is maybe better. I was just really overwhelmed with the fact that everywhere I looked there was a different activity going on, and I felt like I was constantly missing out. Whereas on a ship of this size, granted it's the smallest in the Royal Caribbean fleet, but on this size of ship, I feel like I'm on top of it and I feel like I know what's going on where, which is really good, and it's actually a really comfortable position to be in. But anyway, look, let me take you up, show you the top deck, because it should be lovely and quiet, and I love to go for a walk up there before dinner, so try and, I mean, I'm kidding myself on that I'm going to burn off the calories before I go in. So yeah, let's go for a walk around the top deck, then head down to the dining room, have dinner, and then head along to the show. So yeah, I'll catch up with you after dinner. So after soaking up that sunset up on the top deck and doing a couple of laps to try and work off dinner, it was time to head to the dining room to be faced with, you guessed it, more queues, and more queues. This took forever. So my advice, make sure you book a dinner table. Don't go in and expect, if you've got anytime dining, to just show up, because it didn't really work on this cruise. Anyway, when I did get in, here was the menu. So tonight was a taste of France. What I've found on my Royal Caribbean cruises this year is that the menu changes every night, and generally speaking, it's a different country's theme each night. Now, what did I go for? I opted for calamari to start, and then my second starter was a wedge salad, followed by beef, followed by creme brulee. Really impressed again with the quality of food in Rhapsody's main dining room. I absolutely could not fault it. En route to the show, I stopped in the atrium. I love this space on the more traditional older cruise ships. You normally find that you'll have a band playing downstairs while people can relax and have a drink before dinner, after dinner, or before or after the show. But I'll come back here and show you what was happening later on. I was caught totally off guard. Now, the theatre tonight was a country themed show. Not usually my vibe, but I did really enjoy it. You can see here, the theatre is almost empty, and this was right before the show started. I found that cruising in this part of the world, the clientele didn't really go to the shows early at all, and in fact, the theatres were pretty quiet even during the performances. So if you are cruising in this part of the world, no need to rush down to get a seat. There'll be plenty available for you. Anyway, the show, as I say, was a country theme. Pretty good, seen better, seen worse, but yeah, enjoyed it. And after that, I headed back along to the atrium before going to my room. I don't really have too many words for the chaos that was happening in here. I've never seen this before on a cruise ship, but it was excellent. Anyway, see you in the room. Oh, okay. Do you know what? Tonight is one of those nights that you walk about this ship and you think, what on earth is going on? So yeah, I went for dinner. Dinner unfortunately started with all the queues again, which, yeah, tomorrow I just need to make a reservation. I think that's where I'm going wrong. Now, I then went to the show, and the show tonight was all about country music, which actually, I've never seen that genre pulled off on a cruise ship before. There's quite, what I'm finding with, this is what, ship number 7 this year, and it's like week 11 or week 12 of kind of being on cruise ships. And as you jump from line to line, a lot of the entertainment is quite samey, and it's the same kind of vibe, the same kind of singers, the same kind of acrobats. But that down there, that was actually totally different to anything I've seen across the other lines that I've been with so far this year. It was also very different to what I remember seeing on the what do you call it, Symphony of the Seas, which is obviously the other royal ship I've done. So that's really good to see. Now, what I'm talking about with the what is going on situation, I, I came back upstairs via like the main atrium on deck 4, that section that kind of spans all the way up to the top, and they're having like a Queen and ABBA dance party in there, which I don't know if I'll be able to put it on YouTube because it might trigger the copyright like rules, and it might mean that it'll ban my videos. I'm not sure if I'll be able to put it on. I might just have to overlay this clip with a picture of it. But honestly, people commit people commit so much. That's what I adore about cruising with Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, what I think I'll really enjoy about Carnival, because people just go for it because they're on holiday, it's vacation time, so yeah, let's just have a good night. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that was down there, and then yeah, after that I've just come back upstairs. So it's what, 11:15 now, and I am getting ready for bed. So tomorrow we are docking in Rhodes, and apparently, well, tomorrow is a docking port, so we can just get up and go off. We don't dock until 10:30 though, so it's quite late. Now, I had thought, do I have a long lie or do I still try and get up? To be honest, I'm going to get up because I don't know why we're docking at 10:30, but it might be a picturesque sailing, so I'm going to get up and hopefully we'll be able to see the ship dock. So maybe if you come back in my video tomorrow, which will be my next episode if you're watching on YouTube, then yeah, I'll be able to start that with showing you what it looks like to dock in Rhodes. Apparently you're literally right in the old town, or a 5-minute walk away, so from from a cruise ship perspective, you are basically in the town if you're a 5-minute walk away. So yeah, that's tomorrow, so hopefully you'll come along and join me. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else for today. I have had an absolute ball today. Limassol was beautiful, dinner was, the food was great, service was really good. Day 2, and I'm still really, really enjoying this ship. So yeah, long may that continue. Now, day 3 is tomorrow, so if you want to come along and join me, then you'd be more than welcome to do that. You can do it by just clicking subscribe directly underneath, and also, while you're down there, if you could give the video a quick thumbs up, that would be brilliant. But look, I am looking at this bed and remember how comfortable it was from last night, so I cannot wait to retire. So that's it from me, and I will speak to all of you in my next video. Great. Good night, guys. Bye.